Hi guys, I'm going to talk about why I think that love don't why there's so much problems in relationships, why it's not working out, because I think I'm considering relationship being long-term relationships. So why is it that we're not able to have long-term relationships, or why we're not able to have a happy relationship basically? And one of the first things I thought about was the fact that we don't have a definition of love. We don't have this idea of what is love, like a blueprint, something that we're working towards. Nobody really defines it for us. We just accumulate information as we grow from families, friends, and movies, and we just assume that this is love, and there's no real clear definition of what love is. So I would say that in your teenage years, you more or less kind of think, if you have chemistry with somebody, that must be love, that sensation of chemistry. Because I mean, the first time you feel chemistry, it's like amazing. It's like you think, well, that must be love, right? So I would say that feeling we define as love, and it's not love. It's actually the sexual attraction, which is very important for love, but for a relationship. You need the sexual attraction for the relationship, because that's like the fun part. That's the icing on the cake. Is where you get all the neurotransmitters. So you have like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. All those things keep you feeling stable, happy, and in a good mood. So sexual attraction is important, but what I'm saying is that what is love? Like, what is it that two people need to make love works? That is that we don't have defined. Nobody teaches us that, and we just kind of go around just doing these things. Another thing that I'd realized, that people also thought that love is jealousy, and jealousy is a human nature. It's human nature. We all get jealous sometimes, but that is not love. And I've realized that sometimes people, they go around trying to make each other jealous. So every week they're trying to make the partner jealous, and then they say, okay, well, the partner is jealous, so therefore it must be that the partner loves them. And jealousy is not love. That is just chaos and stress and hurt and pain, and it's not love. So I have contemplated a lot about what love is, and I realized that love is basically kindness, gentleness. There's this thing that they read in weddings where they say what love is from the Bible, and I agree with what they said. It's like they say love protects, it does not cause harm, it endures, it is patient, it is kind, and it's like a glorifying the good of the person. And I think from all that I have thought about and read, that is the closest I've found about love, that love is kind, it protects, and it does not cause harm. And I think if it think about treating a person like that every single day that you are with, even so, you have the chemistry, which is important, but then you also have that part of, you have to consider this person like all the time, every day. You wouldn't inflict misery onto the other person, and the love will grow, because over time the trust will build, and once trust builds, intimacy will build. So I think that personally, every day you should be able to treat a person with kindness and gentleness. And I don't think that is a difficult thing to do, because if you think about it, most times we do that with our friends, like a best friend or colleague. We do that, we treat them with kindness. So there's no reason why we shouldn't treat the person that we love with kindness all the time. Even if you have to say to somebody, I don't like this, which is important in a relationship, you need to be honest. So you need to say what you like and what you don't like. So even if you have to say to somebody, I don't like this, or I don't like that, you could still say it in a kind way, and the person have to be able to receive, because they must be able to receive what you like and dislike. And the other thing, so let's go back to the sexual chemistry. There's this thing that everybody say that chemistry only lasts 2 years. Right? And I don't think that is the truth. I don't think it's a fact. I don't think that sexual chemistry only lasts 2 years. Okay, I've asked people who have been married for 25 years, and some of the women, they still feel chemistry, sexual chemistry towards their spouse. Like, they seem to be very interested in having intimacy with them, and they're happy about it. And I've asked guys who've been married 30 years, and they still enjoy having sex with the wife. So there's this thing that everything goes away after 2 years. And I think if you nurture it, if you nurture the chemistry, that it will grow. I think it disappears when there's conflict, like abuse, when the person no longer pay attention to the other person, when the person stop complimenting the other person, so they don't say to them, like, you know, I find you attractive, or if insults reduce sexual attraction. So the more there's more insults, it decreases. The less physical contact you have, the less sexual attraction. So like touching, holding hands, cuddling, walking, being close physically will increase oxytocin, and that will increase the other stuff, like, you know, the anticipation that sexual intercourse may happen, that will increase dopamine. So, and the more sex you have with the person, the more all these brain chemicals release, and the more you want to have sex. So, and the other thing is that sexual attractions are energy. So you have to be able to create that energy as a couple, as a pair. So that's the other thing. I think that sexual, I don't think it should disappear. I think it could be cultivated, and that, you know, because a lot of people just assume, okay, after 2 years everything dead and that's it. But you have to make the time, and you have to explore each other. And I think this is what I personally think. I think as people grow, as a woman grow and a man change, different, like, you have a whole body to explore, a mind, you know, a lot of sexuality is in the head itself anyway, in the sense that different things turn different people on. So there's a lot. I mean, like, I don't understand why somebody will get bored with somebody in 2 years. I think that a person is so dynamic and there's so much change that I don't see that it should happen. So personally, I think that 2 years I think there's some, even though it happens a lot, I think that is happening because of neglect, and that people expect it to happen. But from the people I spoke to, most of them who still in love with the spouse or the girlfriend, they said that it stays about the same because they have a happy relationship, so there's not a lot of conflict. So they know the spouse is attracted to them, they are attracted to them, and so they find that at least for 15 years they will have the same sensation, in the same sexual arousal. The people not knowing how to define love, how to keep the fire of sexuality going. And you know, the nice thing about a sexual relationship is like you have tantric sex with the Indians, and you have the Chinese have their own, I think it's Tayo, I'm not sure, but the Chinese has their own. So there's like all these things to explore with your partner, rather than just get bored. Yeah. So, and the third thing, so being in love, you're in this euphoric feeling, right? And it's all good, and you're all happy, and it's fantastic. So you temporarily sometimes forget that life is going on, that you have to have the basic needs of shelter and food. And you have to work. So temporarily you could forget that these things are important, and that these are the things that you have to focus on. And this is where I think most of the problem with love relationship comes in, because the time that it's taken for a couple to earn a living is so much time now, like it's insane. It's actually crazy. You have no time for each other. You have no time for, there's no time left, because if you, okay, say you sleep for 8 hours, and I strongly believe that you should sleep for 8 hours. I know some people say you could function on less. I think sleep is very important. So let's say you sleep for 8 hours, you work for 8 hours, you commute for say 2 hours, right? So that's 16 and 2, 18 hours already. And then you have to get ready for work, and get ready, undress when you return home. So that's the next 2 hours. So we're already at about 20 hours, right? And then you have to prepare meals, clean the house, and those extra things. And social media, which by this stage social media is a must. So let's say an hour on social media, which is not possible. And you basically have 1 or 2 hours in the whole 24 hours for each other. And then some people need alone time, time to exercise, to meditate, for hobbies. So we literally out of time at that stage, right? And not even added in any children. This is just a couple without kids. So there's almost no time available for a couple to even have a relationship, or even be playful with each other and have the passion going. So I would say that is one of the biggest things. The cost of living is crazy high right now. It's ridiculous. It's scary high in terms of this housing, and well, mainly housing prices have gone crazy high. So most times both couples have to work full-time jobs, and the jobs is demanding more and more, because right now in China they have this thing called 996. We work 9 to 9 for 6 days a week, and that is becoming normal. But it's also becoming normal in Canada and the US, and because you're connected to your cell phone and your laptop, and you have to get work emails, and you're connected to working at you haven't been able to disconnect from work. So there's no time left for relationship. In terms of conflict, there's no one explaining to people how to deal with conflict within a relationship, you know, disagreement and anything. You know, I mean, we will have the disagreement on a lot of stuff. That's just a normal part of life, and there's no one to no one have explained to young people or people in general how do you deal with conflict. Now the trend is just like, okay, I'm not happy, and next, you know, like you know, like there's no like dealing with conflict. It's like, okay, you're not living up to my standard, I am not happy, and we move on, instead of saying what's an example of conflict? Like who does the chores, who do the dishes, you know, this kind of stuff. You just, there's no working it out. There's, you know, people just decide, people just argue and who, I guess, who argue the most win or something like that. But all those things supposed to be taught. We're supposed to at least be taught how to love, how to resolve conflict, how to keep passion alive, how to manage money. So all of these things are important in relationships, and none of these things are taught, and people just doing whatever they want. And I think personally that's why relationships are not working out, because nobody have a plan, nobody knows what to do. You know, there's just this thing out there that they have a huge amount of options, so why be unhappy? And I'm not saying that anybody should be unhappy, but I'm saying that we still need to try to work our relationship out, and not just jump from one relationship to the next thinking, well, eventually somebody will have it all together. So that's my thought on it. Let me know what your thoughts are, why you think that relationships are not working out, and let me know in terms of what your idea of love is, what your definition of love is, and in terms of passion, if you really think that it ends in 2 years. So that's it. Thank you.